Wow, what a month. November was crazy. I don't know about you, but I was really busy. Um, I mean, that was kind of obvious by my relative absence on my normal social platforms of the normal things such as blogging and videos and stuff. Although I did notice somebody was posting on my channel, so that's a little weird. Last time I checked, I don't actually have a roommate, so whoever this person is, I don't know. I'll just have to find them someday and be like, hey, what are you doing? And why are you on my channel? And do you want to just sit down and talk about it instead? Yeah. So we'll deal with that eventually. Who knows? Maybe I'll invite them to a video of both of us just talking sometime. That could be. Maybe I can interview them. See, get to actually know who they are, and apparently they tried to poison my coffee supply. Didn't notice, so that's awkward. But anyway, so I reached my goal. Well, I reached my revised goal for NaNoWriMo this last month, and instead of writing 50,000 words because my life was very busy as I am in my senior year of college, it's November. That's like the month leading up to finals, which is quite possibly the worst month ever to choose to try to write a novel in a month. I don't know why I do this every year or why I think that it's a good idea, but here we are. So I tried it and I didn't hit the 50,000 word goal. I kind of knew that wasn't going to happen when I started. I went into it with the knowledge that if I managed to write anything, it was going to be kind of a miracle. So about halfway through, I revised my goal to be only 10,000 words because part of making goals and doing them in writing and trying to meet the goal is to make the goal doable. And that's what's hard about NaNoWriMo is that the goal of 50,000 words in a month, if you stay on it, it is possible, but very, very, very difficult. And that can be very discouraging for writers who haven't practiced a ton. So here's an alternative. You start with the goal of 50,000. As soon as that goes off track, you revise your goal, unless you think it's possible to actually get back on track. So this is what I'm talking about. I revised my goal about 2 weeks in, 2 or 3 weeks in, to be only 10,000 words in a month. And yeah, that's only a fifth of what NaNoWriMo is, but it meant that the words that I was putting on the page could be better and I would be happier with them later, which is always a good thing. And overall, I really like how the rewrite of this story is going. And even more fun, I got to color on there. So that is now all the way through chapter 4 colored in instead of only through chapter 3, where it got stuck because of things like writing a book proposal and stuff that I probably won't end up using. But it's always good practice to have written multiple book proposals because the more you do it, the easier it gets. So that was one of the big things in November was NaNoWriMo and getting that to chapter 4, and I'm now into chapter 5, so that's super fun. And I love how this new rewrite is working. I love how it's going in the sense of how the characters are showing themselves and how we're skipping over a lot of the, get to know them kind of and jumping straight into the catch up as you go sort of get to know them, which is a lot better than playing around and being like, I don't know who these characters are because I'm writing them. I'm supposed to know who they are. And now I do. So when I write this draft, I actually know who they are and who I'm writing about, and they're more accessible. If you saw the recent Christmas movie, I guess it's not very recent if it came out last year, but the most recent of the Christmas movies that exists about Charles Dickens, that is one of the best ways to portray an author and the characters that I have seen, simply because it is a visual representation of what a lot of authors experience. And this isn't to say that if you don't experience this, then you're not an author, because you are still an author and a writer, even if you don't get to sit down and have face-to-face conversations with your characters, because honestly, it's a little weird. It's the sort of thing that would get us locked up as insane. we sit in an empty room talking to ourselves and asking questions and pretending that we're hearing answers, and in some ways we are, because we're talking to our characters, and yes, it's all in our heads, but here's the trick. We know it's all in our heads. And we know that we are actually in an empty room. It's just sort of a dual plane of existence, if that makes any sense. Like, here's reality, and here's where they are. And sometimes, as if you're seeing a ghost, they can bleed through into reality, even though they're not there at all. And we know that, I think. No, I know. At least, I know that my characters are not actually standing in the room with me, but it's a very fun way to imagine and experience them and get to know them. For example, I was talking with one of my friends, Teresa, actually, linked to her channel up there. I was talking with her, and she had given me a bunch of edits and was providing some possible ways that I could fix some of the plot holes in one of my novels. And as I was sitting there, I was just like, I mean, these are all really, really good ideas, except that my main character is over there shaking his head at you. So, and it was one of those funny interactions of, as much as I would love to do all of these really good ideas, if my character says no, it can't happen. Because as soon as I go against what my character says, it won't be that character anymore. It'll be out of character, as we call it, which means that it won't fit with how that character functions in the world. So anyway, but that's been happening, which is really fun when it comes to writing this book, because I get to hang out with a bunch of murderers. Not generally a fun thing. Don't do that with your life. Unless, well, okay, there are some instances in which it would be okay to do that with your life, but it's a little iffy. Just, hang out with them in my book, but not like... The less you can hang out with murderers, the higher your percentage of maybe surviving life goes up. Yeah. Anyway, so there are two more really exciting things that happened in November. One of which is I have decided that I want to share CoffeeDate blog with people who want to just write for it. If you write Christian reflections and you want to see your work published, I will put a link down below where you can send me some stuff that you've written, and I might publish you. Lastly, the other really exciting news is I've joined Patreon. So if you want to support my videos and my writing, and if you want to get behind the scenes insight as to how I edit and what edits I choose to make, also if you want to receive a monthly short story from me, go check out the options for how you can support me on Patreon and join my Patreon family. There are a few different tiers, as they call them, of Coffee Lover, which is $3 a month. So even if you only have $3 a month, I would really appreciate your support. And that one will get you a one-time shout out and a short story every month. The $20 a month option, which I call the Book Lovers, it's the same price that you would spend on a hardback book if you were getting it in print. And that one will get you slightly more access to me and what I'm doing. And then lastly, there's the really generous librarians among you who have $50 a month that they don't know what to do with, and you want to support me. So if that's you, if you find yourself in any of those categories, or if you know someone who writes or wants to get better at writing, go check it out. I'm going to be offering various different aspects on workshopping manuscripts and articles, and basically a lot of what I've learned in college studying writing for a college degree professionally and getting published, and pretty soon here working with a literary agent as far as all of that goes. If you want insider knowledge on all of that, go check out how you can support me and get that knowledge. Lastly, if you have any editing or writing that you want done for your own things, such as if you've written a novel or have short stories that you want to submit places, or anything like that, go check out the services tab on my website to find my rates for how much I charge for those sorts of things, because I'd love to help out. So, until next time, I'll see you then. If you like these videos, like and subscribe and share them with your friends, and don't forget, go check out my Patreon page. Bye.